Hey everyone, welcome back to a very special episode of Top Drive Show. I'm Caleb, I'm the community coordinator here on Top Drives, and I'm joined today by Jonny, who's our Chief Creative Officer, and Will, you have seen previously as well. Today we're here at Artec Auto Design, who have very kindly lent us their lovely space so that we can take a look at the car behind me here, the Audi R8 RWD, and we're going to take a look at it in-game in Top Drives today and see how it performs. So, over to you guys.
So the first challenge we've got for this is we're going to go R8 versus R8. We've got the new model that we've been discussing today. We thought actually what would be interesting is to put it up against one that's actually sort of almost a generation older, quite a few years older. It's a Spider, but crucially it's four-wheel drive, and I think that's really, it's going to be interesting to see the difference in the drivetrain and what that does within the challenge.
And we're going to put it up against on a drag race, so that we're going to see sort of like that initial traction off the line, and to really sort of like emphasise that change and that difference, I suppose, because ultimately maybe we won't see the difference so much. If it was just on tarmac,
yeah,
we're going to sort of make it gravel, so we can really see how much better traction a four-wheel drive R8 has.
Yeah, and I think gravel's a good one. We could have gone extreme, we could have gone mud or snow, but that feels like it's just taking things too far. So let's go gravel, I think, and just to kind of highlight that key difference, even against an older R8 that's a little bit heavier because it's a Spider, and let's see what happens. The next challenge, let's get it away from gravel, let's put it back in slightly happier territory for the R8, and actually put it up against a car that's probably overall is kind of comparable in performance, which is the Dodge Viper ACR. It's slightly different emphasis. I think the ACR is very tuned to kind of track work, but I think if we put it on the kind of 1 mile dry drag strip, we can see what happens now. And it's actually off the line. They're like we say, they're very, very similar. But I think it's just those kind of longer legs of the R8.
I think also part of that is the ACR famously has so many aero things on it. There will be an element of drag. The slippery R8 just with a tiny little spoiler on the back is all that it's got. But the Viper has a big wing and splitters and all that sort of stuff. The whole point of that car is more sort of track racer, not necessarily drag racer, even though it's an American car and potentially a muscle car, and that's what we might expect from it. But it's actually designed to go around corners, and that drag limits it in that challenge, because it just doesn't have the same top speed as the R8, which is over 200 miles an hour. Which let's be honest, that's not.
It's funny actually. For so long that 200 mile mark was a big sort of benchmark really, or kind of different. Yeah, it was only the most extreme cars could get there, and it's the entry-level R8 can now do 200 miles an hour, which seems bonkers. Which seems like something sort of a fantasy thing that you would never have expected from years ago. But, and I've never had the pleasure of using one every day, but I'm assuming you can.
You could, yeah. An everyday usable 200 mile an hour supercar, which is
So, and I think that race just shows it. Longer drag races, you're going to have again, it's going to be a useful car for that. So third challenge, it's not all about straight line performance. So I think for this time we're going to go sister car, I guess you could say that, in a Lamborghini Huracan. Gone rear-wheel drive, gone Spider, just to kind of level the playing field a little bit. As you say, it's the entry-level R8. So we're going to keep things kind of a bit more fair. And if we have a look on a kind of hairpin challenge, I guess it's not a big surprise this is close, is it?
No, and I suppose ultimately it's the same drivetrain, it's the same engine, it's the same gearbox, it's much the same. But I suppose internally within between Audi and Lamborghini, they will have sort of developed these cars so that the Lamborghini is always better. But I suppose when you this RWD is slightly generation newer, so things have moved on a little bit, and and that was maybe sort of the first of the kind of the first of the Huracan. So things have developed around it a little bit, but it actually ultimately, it just goes to show how sort of tight the tolerances are between these cars. I mean, yeah, they might be the same, but there's a very big price difference, really, actually, when you look at sort of how much a Huracan costs compared to an R8. But actually, it just goes to show how tight they are and how close they are, that ultimately, a couple of generations later, the absolute bottom of the level, which again, that seems mad, that this is the bottom level, is as quick as as the Lamborghinis. It's phenomenal.
For the fourth final challenge, this is that thing. So I'm not going to put up against that Mark 1 Golf that I always enjoy doing on the fast circuit. But I've gone for something. This was just one of those ones that has kind of stood out in my head. So I've actually picked a Porsche 911 Targa 4S. It's a few years old now. It's a bit older than the R8. But in almost anyone's book, possibly not yours, Will, but almost anyone's book, it's a fast car. That's a fast performance car still.
Oh, absolutely.
It's four-wheel drive.
Yeah, and I suppose what we're talking about here is a car that is I suppose more like the traditional R8. This is not the not traditional car. So again, although we did that first challenge, we're back at that same territory. Again, we're putting in the RWD into a situation that actually the traditional one would maybe be more suited to. Yeah. But we need to find out where this one sits, how this one sits, not just against Audis, but in the whole range of things. And you've always got to put it against 911. There's always a 911 rival to almost any car. A hot hatch even. I'm sure that there's a 911 rival to one of those.
Yep.
And so putting it against putting it against the RWD, it needs to happen. I think this is a really great car to put it against. And the challenge you've chosen sort of is kind of part suited to one, part suited to the other.
Yeah, and straight line speed just nips it.
Absolutely, and you're getting that start. Just goes to show. I mean, it was quicker off the start than the four-wheel drive 911. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If we're forgetting actually that although it might not have all four wheels driven, it's still got loads of traction. It's still incredibly fast. It might be an entry-level R8, but it is still phenomenally fast.
Yeah. So all in all, just quite a car and a nice addition to anyone's collection.
Yeah, in real life or in Top Drives. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Will and Jonny. That was a really comprehensive breakdown of how the car is going to perform in the game there. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode. We just want to say one more great big thank you to Artec for letting us use this beautiful space to show off the car here. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.